like I might half-ass it, I might be a pain in the ass. But I did a nice little 7-mile walk today.
Really?
And really cleared my head. I feel really good.
Did you actually walk for 7 miles?
I did, yeah.
Where to?
I walk the lake, so I'm 2 miles from the lake, so I'll walk like 2 miles there and then walk a bunch of the lake and then head back, so it ends up being about 7.
You live in those like fancy apartments overlooking that lake park?
Not super fancy, no. I'm still literally like a couple miles from those, but I'm in southeast, so like general area.
Oh yeah.
That's the backdrop?
Yes.
I love that.
Mr. Nixon back there.
Friggin' brilliant. That's great.
All right. Should we introduce the ghost of Nixon, or should we?
Ghost of Nixon passed.
What if we did a Nixon impersonation? How do you do a Nixon impersonation?
It's the same as my Boss Nass impersonation from episode 1.
Just like as many people were watching that movie when it came out, and they were like, "Is he supposed to sound like Nixon?" Because I remember distinctly my dad taking me to see that in 1999, and it was just mind blowing.
Misa no caring about the Watergate.
And they're like, "Was Jar Jar Binks supposed to be black?" I don't know what was going on.
Technically was.
The actor was black. Yeah.
He was, yeah. That poor guy. I think we've come back around on him.
People have softened on him.
Yeah.
I always thought he was funny. I mean,
Yeah.
the farting in the face thing was a tad much.
Yeah.
But besides that, it was pretty funny.
I don't know if I remember that. Was that in Star Wars?
It was in Phantom Menace. Jar Jar Binks is wandering around in the desert town, and he like runs up and is like inspecting the ass of
that's right.
alien.
That's right.
And it just cuts wind right in his face.
Right in the face
saying,
there.
"Hey, Yosa."
Oh, okay.
Everyone in the theater was like, "What the fuck?"
George Lucas owes him an apology.
George Lucas is obviously a freak. There's no question about it. But you know what's funny is Jar Jar Binks was supposed to be a much bigger character throughout the trilogy.
Okay.
This is like is basically established facts now.
Okay.
But he was going to be an actual undercover Sith agent. That was going to be the twist for episode 3.
Dude, that's what I wanted the twist to be in Force Awakens.
What was the twist? The twist was that he was a clone, right?
The twist was that Han Solo.
Oh, you're talking about the
basically.
movie, not the game.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Force Awakens. Yeah, yeah.
See, because they made a game. It was called Star Wars: The Force Unleashed.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
This was in 2008, and it was a great game.
Right.
And it was canon at the time, and very enjoyable. They went all in with the Force physics.
Yeah.
And then they made a movie in like 2011, and they called it The Force Awakens. And I was like, y'all didn't think that
2015,
maybe
yeah.
this was it really 2015?
Yeah, 2015.
Still too close.
Yeah.
I was like, did y'all think maybe you should change the name? But the name of all 3 of those movies was dog shit.
Yeah.
Irredeemable dog shit.
Yeah.
Rise of. Anytime you see Rise in the title,
not good.
It's made for China.
Yeah.
The Chinese audience has an obsession with the word rise. And please, any Chinese fans out there.
I don't think we're recording, but I could be wrong.
We are. The red light's on.
That means we're on. Holy cow, we've been here the whole time. Okay. We'll cut back to Andrew some other time.
Andrew will be back at some point. But please, Chinese fans in the audience, tell us what the obsession with Rise is.
Yeah.
I would love to know, because I genuinely don't know. But we're talking Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Rise of Gru.
Mm-hmm.
There's so
Dark
many.
Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises,
Yep.
which was a terrible movie.
Rise of the... Transformers had a Rise of something,
Transformers
didn't it?
Rise of the Fallen Moon or something.
Okay, yeah.
It's been in so many
Rise
movies.
of the Dark Side of the Moon. The bread rises.
And the moon rises again. South rises again.
Yep. It's a cycle. It happens.
Anytime you see that, you know that it's made for China, and you know it's about to be hot ass. No
Yep.
question about it. And all those Star Wars movies were made for China.
Hey, Hot Air rises. So.
Hot Air rises.
He's back, everyone.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to get my American spirits.
Okay.
Well, how are you going to film this without the spirit of America?
Right.
You know what I mean?
To bring a little patriotism to the flavor.
You're an elf with an American spirit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now before we get too far off topic again, we're dunking on Star Wars. We'll take a quick break for introductions here. This is Questioning Hour, episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
Big milestone. I'm Max Misdirection with Freak Mode Media. Got here a special guest star,
Matt Defiore.
the man, the myth, the legend, comedian.
Comedian,
we're
yeah.
gonna circle
these
back
days.
on that. Comedian, public speaker,
Yeah.
evangelist.
Yeah.
Dare I say?
Yeah. And unlicensed therapist.
Unlicensed sex therapist.
Yeah. Well, okay. I didn't think we were talking about it, but there it is.
Andrew Potter. Yeah.
All around great guy.
Drummer,
Thank you.
producer,
Yeah.
writer,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
filmmaker, soon to be.
Yeah.
Yep. Podcast maker currently.
Producer for
Yeah.
the most part. Yeah.
Yeah. We love
We're
it.
gonna shop this around. We're gonna get big. We're gonna get so big they're gonna tell us
We're gonna
we
get
can't.
huge.
They're
We're
gonna
gonna
be
be
like,
big in
look,
China.
guys, we love you. You're stars, okay? You're stars.
We're gonna
It's
rename.
amazing. Have
we're
some
gonna,
cocaine, brother.
We're gonna rename the podcast "Rise of
You
These
can't
Three
talk
Guys."
about the Chinese anymore, brother. It's played out. You can't do it.
Why are you my Jewish mom? What are you doing? Rise of These Three Podcasters. We're gonna do big in China. That's the name of the podcast. Rise of These Three Guys.
Hey, I'll tell you what. 2029, when President Trump is out of office again, right, and after he's sealed in history, quote unquote, he's gonna be on the podcast. He already agreed.
Nice.
We're gonna have him. He can't do it right now. He's got a very thick schedule.
You weren't supposed
Right.
to tell.
I wasn't, but I was
That
excited.
was a surprise, yeah.
I prematurely let them know, but yeah, about 4.5 years from now.
And it's not me in a wig.
It definitely won't be just a man spray painted
But
orange
yeah.
in like a cheap suit. It's certainly going to be the
But I
robot
will be
himself.
here in a wig as well. Just in addition. So
I am curious if I'm actually in the shot.
me as well.
A little bit. I'm a
I'm
little
wondering
bit.
if I'm in this shot. I
You
mean,
guys are definitely in the shot. Yeah, yeah.
If I'm not in the shot, something is
You guys
really
are the
wrong.
stars.
Red team.
Yeah.
Red team, brother.
Oh, yeah. There
You're
we go.
okay.
Rise of Red team.
You're okay with me getting a little cozy with you?
Please.
I was going to say you should probably just hop on his lap real quick.
What did we all do this
Unlicensed sex therapist. What did we do this morning?
weekend? This weekend.
This weekend?
Yeah. Why were you a little grumpy yesterday?
That's a good question.
I had friends in from out of town who I had a great time with, but we did go drinking, which I'm just not the biggest drinker anymore, and so that kind of
It's a depressant, dude.
It is.
really
It
And
is.
it really makes you like a narcissist the next
Yeah.
day. You think you're having a great time.
Yeah.
And even when you're drinking, like the quality really conversation does just take a nosedive.
Yeah, definitely that. And then like we just ate terribly too, and I think that really like affected my head. And so I actually realized today, and I texted a friend this: take care of your body, it'll take care of your mind. Take care of your mind, it'll take care of your spirit. Okay,
Your American spirits.
American spirits.
Well, you know, Spirit. Sponsored by Big
Sponsored-
Tobacco.
Yeah,
Get cancer.
Well, nicotine
big
does
tobacco, little guys.
nicotine does cure COVID. I don't know if you
Okay.
guys heard,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it does. Well, it kills specifically the nanobots that COVID delivers.
But
Okay,
tobacco
so-
itself is good for you. I mean, people have been smoking tobacco for thousands of years. The Native Americans, speaking of American spirits, were some of the healthiest people to ever live. I mean, they were very healthy human beings. You know what I mean? You can't deny it, bro. They would live to like 95. Europeans at the time were like dying at 33. You know what I mean? And like the big secrets: smoke tobacco, don't use a condom, don't breathe through your mouth. That's it. That's the whole thing. Oh, and eat wild food.
Okay, you just blasted past the condom thing.
Yeah,
You have to
that was
explain
really,
this.
really tucked in there.
Right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had the sandwiches.
You snuck it in a little bit. All right, I'll bite. What's going on with the condom?
Well, that part was really just a joke. I think
Okay.
you should probably.
Oh, so you're the comedian now.
You should probably wear. I am. I've always been a comedian. I just haven't been disciplined enough to actually make a performance. But you know, one day if you wanted to coach me, maybe we could make a performance for me. Maybe we could both perform somewhere. You know, because I feel like I have the ability. I just don't. I don't understand the structure of a comedic show. I don't
Okay.
understand writing it out.
Oh, I could get you
it's,
there.
It's an art form.
It
you
is.
know, it's a performance.
It is.
But no, as far as we can tell, they did not wear condoms. But when the colonials came, they did bring these weird condoms made from like a sheepskin.
Yeah, we used to.
We.
Cut to sponsor. American Spirits. No condoms here.
Also, we're in Chernobyl right now, so
Right.
I don't know if you could
Chernobyl.
tell the difference, but yeah.
I was thinking probably the funniest moment of last episode was when I did the little Russian impersonation because I was hyping up Russia, and then you're like, "So you're gonna move to Russia?" And I was like, "Hell no, I'm not moving to Russia.
I was definitely.
I'm not
hyping up Russia.
retarded."
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I briefly did. I was talking about a YouTube video I'd seen. Every time you pop in on these guys, they're like, "Life in Russia." How I say it, it is hell.
Well, maybe it's time for us to make Russia great again.
Yeah, sure. Speaking of, I picked up this like photojournalist guy. He was like on track to find his parents. Basically, he was an orphan in Ukraine and stuff. And so he was telling me he's like hitting up the airport and like just going with the camera. And he has like a couple leads and stuff like that. And he started dishing out some pretty weird conspiracy theories, talking about throwing rocks at those new like autonomous vehicles, and I support that.
Just to make them swerve,
Yeah.
or for what reason?
Like the thing that spins at the top of the autonomous vehicle, that's worth $60,000. So another story, I picked up a tech, and basically he was saying that he worked on those, and a lot of homeless people, they'll just throw rocks at the little spinny thing.
Yeah, why not?
It's a target,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprised they haven't popped off rounds at it. I will say, usually when I see those, they're driving real slow. They're blocking up traffic. They're usually driving at the worst time of the day, but I do typically see a human inside.
Yeah, I know.
And he's on his phone, or something. I
will
think it's
say-
still driving itself.
I will say I was on Congress the other night and saw a couple people using them. They were getting in the back, and I saw them going around with no driver. So I was like, okay, game on, I guess.
Right.
I don't
Play
know.
chicken with it.
Yeah.
I mean, 'cause you think it would just swerve into a building to avoid hitting
Right.
you, right?
Right. I just kind of want to, I don't know, maybe give one of those a test and hope something bad happens, right? Because that's a lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
You're in those and something happens, you're a lottery winner.
Well, they killed
know?
somebody. I don't know if we talked about this last time. They
This
killed
doesn't
somebody in
surprise
San
me.
Francisco.
They've
Okay.
killed
And
many
so that's
people.
why they're here in Texas right now.
To kill Texans as well, so that
Yeah.
we balance out the electoral college
Right.
voting system.
So what
Right.
the technician told me was he left the company because he had like sour feelings about
Yeah.
Toro or Tumu or whatever.
Toro. Well, that's a car rental service.
Waymo.
Yeah, Waymo.
Yeah. T-Mobile.
And he would, basically he was saying that the car will avoid a pedestrian, but like in order to avoid a pedestrian, it will cause more damage by going into a speeding vehicle that's going 90 miles per hour, which would be
Catastrophic.
Worse,
I mean, how many human beings are in that vehicle?
Right.
You know?
Wow. Will it kill a dog? Will it kill a dog?
I'm sure. I don't know.
It will kill a Latin American immigrant.
Yeah. Does it assess that it's a Latin American
It will
immigrant
assess. It
before
will racially profile
there's
you.
racism coded into
It will
the
immediately tap your bank account. How much
American
money do they have?
spirit?
Right, yeah.
Do they have enough money?
We
for
need
a
sponsors. Waymo ain't doing it.
Yeah.
Holy
do they
crap.
have enough money for a prolonged legal battle with Tesla? If not, I'm killing them.
Yeah.
If they don't have enough money for a prolonged legal battle with Tesla, I do. Okay.
Well, that's a.
Woo!
They're like, wait a minute, how much money you have in your bank account? Your dad works in what industry? Oh shit!
The killing people with cars industry.
Yeah.
No, I think that's how they balance the electoral college. If someone dies in California, someone in Texas has to go as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
there's got to be. You need equality
Makes the most sense.
in your government
Right.
assassinations. You can't just be assassinating from one demographic.
Yeah.
It's got to be like one white man, one Latin American woman, maybe a Somalian immigrant
Wow.
working at an old people's home. Because you can't let them know that you're racist.
Mm.
You kill one guy, you got to kill another. It's the only fair thing to do.
Doing my best to not be racist on this episode.
Well, that's pretty good.
I'm not taking the bait.
Nope.
Well, it's okay because we're implying that Tesla is racist, and that's socially acceptable.
Mm.
Because they are racist. There's no question.
Yeah, back
but,
to the autonomous thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Elon Musk is just holding back and waiting for Temu to like see how that plays out and
Waymo.
see if Waymo or whatever.
Waymo, sorry.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, well, no, he is trying to go in on the self-driving stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He has been for a while, and then he's the cyber cab or whatever he's trying to come out
sure.
with. So
Well, the funny thing about that, because when they started having the Teslas with the auto drive, and you'd see the rich old white man in California, he's asleep at the wheel, the Tesla's driving it. So at that point, it gets into an accident. Their policy is, look, the human that's at the steering wheel is at fault, regardless of what the system does.
Yeah.
Which makes sense,
Yeah.
right? A pilot can fly on autopilot, but if it crashes, it's his fault. Right? So that makes sense. But now you've got them driving by themselves to come pick you up. Who is at fault? It can't be the person that commanded on a cell phone, because Tesla could also command it from a cell phone. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And remember that Barack Obama, our Lord and Savior, ruled in 2009. The corporations are people, right? And people can be assassinated, right, if they're suspected of terrorism. That was another little gem he slipped in. They can assassinate an American citizen suspected of terrorism, right? So how are you going to say that Tesla is not guilty of manslaughter if their autonomous driving vehicle hits them? How could it not be their fault?
right.
That's what I'm asking. So I think it's an insane business proposition. I mean, I truly am baffled by it.
Yeah. The legality is going to be a whole mess, right? Because, Tesla's not going to want to take that blame.
No, they would do anything not to take the blame.
Right.
They would blame anybody.
Yeah.
They would blame a jaywalker before they take the blame. They're not going to foot the bill. They're going to try not to.
Right.
But I will say I am happy with this precedent of giving insane fines to these tech companies and just like crushing them with like the boot of the law. I think that's pretty cool. I think they should do it more. Did you hear about Russia's fine on Google?
No.
See, they've tried to sweep this. So basically, Google, of course, they had YouTube in Russia, and if you want to do business in Russia, you got to play with the Russian government, just like with any company or country. And they eventually pulled it, right? Because over COVID and all these other issues and the tariffs, the trade wars going on with Russia due to the Ukraine thing, they blacklisted YouTube in Russia. It doesn't work. And Russia went ahead and hit them, I think it was like $20 septillion or something. The fine was basically more money than has ever existed or will ever exist. Just like a completely ludicrous fine, right? But as far as anybody can tell, it's a legal fine, and Google's just like pretending that they didn't get hit with this fine.
Their legal strategy is don't look at it. Maybe it'll go away.
We're just gonna not acknowledge it and hope that because I guess they're hoping that World War III kicks off and Russia will lose. And spoiler alert: I don't think they're gonna lose.
No.
You know who is gonna lose? Andrew Potter, everyone.
Yeah.
Big loser of World War III.
Well, when they cut off the American spirits, that's
feeling
it.
great about myself.
But not life. You're winning at life, but you will lose World War III.
I have been getting lucky, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself.
Well, you should be old enough that you're not going to get drafted, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Wait, what's the cut on that?
I'm pretty sure it's like literally 28.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
Yeah, bro.
I think they can draft older than that, but they would way prefer to draft between like 16 and 24.
We're getting the hot chicks that are left.
Hey.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it kicks off, like, how could we not be rich? They're going to take all these young guns who are already not working, right? According to the internet, it's like, what, two out of three adults aged 18 to 28 don't work, right? Which, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Working sucks. So they're not working already. They're not going to college. They have this movement called NEET, not in education, employment, or training. It's a big movement. There's millions of dudes in it. Bro, they're going to the front lines in World War III. There's no question they're going straight to the front line. Very neat.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'll tell you that much.
Well, if they come and ask you, I mean, you're pretty much going to have to do it. Unless you could
Well,
find
then that's
some
not
excuse.
asking, is it? You think they're going to show up and be like, do you want to go to war?
No, they're going to command you. They make it very
I'll be like, hang on, let me think about this. How are the health benefits?
Yeah.
You know?
That is sort of funny.
Health benefits are pretty good, actually. Pretty
Okay.
Yeah. Nate's dad, Roger, was telling me how to escape the army. So he was processed and everything, went through boot camp. Actually, they sent him to Vietnam, but he somehow managed to escape the army. Apparently, his...
You just run really fast? How do you do that?
He didn't really get to that, but he did say that his commanding officer basically killed an innocent Vietnamese person. So Roger I should probably
which we don't recommend.
And so Roger pulled a gun on his commanding officer basically and threatened to kill and so he had to run into the woods and
So there is a way.
Yeah.
Bottom line, okay, good.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Well, I would say, first of all, I don't believe that story whatsoever.
Okay.
I believe that his commanding officer killed an innocent person because that was common. And I believe he whipped out a gun on him. I don't really believe that he ran into the woods and escaped. I mean, you're just not going to escape. I mean, you don't run into the jungle in Vietnam and escape. That's not how that works.
Forrest
Okay.
Gump.
Where the hell would he go?
He talks loud. It's pretty convincing.
Yeah.
He's a very convincing man, especially when he gets... Bro, I was going to roast him so hard if he came on the podcast.
Really?
I was going to be like...
It's
"Roger,
happening
so
next Monday."
I was like, so you've been drunk for 100 years, right? You're 100 years old. You've been drunk every single day of your life, right?
Yeah.
But no, there was a really common practice in the Vietnam conflict where they would just kill their commanding officer, on accident. Mm-hmm. They would call it fragging, right? Commanding officer sleeping in the tent, or he's got a prostitute in the tent, whatever. He's in the tent, and you just walk by, and you happen to accidentally pull a pin out the grenade. You check it right in there, and then he dies. He's blown up by a grenade. And then they come in, they're like, "Who killed the lieutenant?" I don't know. It was
A grenade?
I don't know what happened. It was accidental. Because they were all on drugs, right? Because they couldn't stop them from taking drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen Platoon with Willem Dafoe. they downplayed it. They were on more drugs than that. Like, they were mainlining heroin, meth, marijuana, crack
Gunpowder
cocaine.
mixed with cocaine, right?
They would do that too. What was that called?
It
A
would
bazooka, right?
Smoke it out of the gun barrel.
Smoke it out.
Yeah.
You can roll up a cigarette with the tobacco and the crack in it, and it's a bazooka, and it'll get you real hyped up.
Mm-hmm.
That's creativity.
Sounds like a good time.
But they murdered a bunch of officers in Vietnam, and that was the real motivation for switching away from the draft system initially, which they did in like the 80s, 90s. And they went to more corporate style where everybody was a volunteer. They reformed the benefits packages. They reformed the separation packages. And then they started to, because back then you could enlist for like 1 year. Now basically the minimum is 4 years. And they really want you to enlist for 6 years. Because if you enlist for 4 years, they treat you like a second-hand citizen. And they're moving towards 8 years, right? They want a bigger commitment and they want you to volunteer. And they don't play that shit anymore. Like, you even threaten to hit a commanding officer, like they will send you to jail real quick. You know what I mean? But back then they had just completely lost control of the situation. And murdering an officer was totally common in Vietnam. Like, obviously not like a full bird, not a colonel or a general or anything like that. You never do that. But a lieutenant,
At a certain level, it was fine.
yeah. If it was like a second lieutenant, you could murder that dude all day long. They didn't even care that much.
They used to wear shirts that would say, "Don't murder me, bro." But
Well, they got to try
still
to be
did it.
nice. You know, they
Yeah.
got to, okay, let's hook up a tent, a recreation area. Let's get some prostitutes in here. You want crack? Let's get you crack. Let's just, please, don't kill me.
I've never thought about how many prostitutes were involved with the military. This is new to me, you know.
Well, back in the 80s, even in the United States, they would hire strippers to come on to military bases and dance for the boys. And
Oh,
this was a
that
morale
makes
event.
sense.
Yeah.
I guess that
Do you
makes sense.
guys-
Before the corporatization of the United States military.
Mm.
Do you guys remember reading an article in Fort Hood? Someone got caught for like organizing a prostitution ring with female, recruits or whatever.
No, right.
And
right.
so he got caught. I wouldn't be surprised if he took the hit for someone higher than him. But
Also,
I mean, like, it's sort of idiotic in a way. I mean, come on, like, sex is the greatest way to get information. Of course, the military is like, trying to convince these, female soldiers or whatever. Hey, use what you got, I guess.
well, there's a lot to unpack there. So Fort Hood is famous for a lot more than just like female soldiers having sex, because anybody that joins the military is a freak, females included, right? I mean, they're freaks to begin with. I mean, what kind of prudish female would want to join the military? You can't even imagine it. It's totally impossible. Well, a lot of sinister shit happens at Fort Hood. They had a young woman who worked in an armory. She got murdered basically in the armory and then disappeared. And then like there was a whole search and a whole dragnet. The family's like, hey, where's my daughter? She was working at Fort Hood. She was supposed to come see us. And the army's like, oh, we don't know. Maybe she defected. She probably defected. And they're like, no, there's no way she would defect, because if she defects, we're getting deported. Like, she wouldn't defect. There's just no way. That's not her character. Blah, 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 blah. They're running around. Finally, they find her. And, the back of her head's caved in, and she's floating in a river. And, basically she was just straight up murdered by an enlisted, a rank or two above her, because, I don't know, she didn't do something they wanted her to do, and they just straight up killed her. But it's pretty common at a lot of military installations, but especially Fort Hood. A lot of people die at Fort Hood.
Yeah, I guess my point is, why are people surprised that the military is sort of organizing a prostitution ring? It's very beneficial for,
Makes
warlike
perfect sense.
purposes.
You're talking prostitutional warfare?
Well, I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, like, have you ever James Bond? I mean, like,
Right.
it's the greatest way of getting information. Let's throw a prostitute in there, and
Well, I think that's why they just don't tell them anything.
Yeah.
Or they hypnotize them to suppress the information. Because a lot of the Vietnamese women they had sex with over there surely were working for the enemy. They ran numbers and say, yeah, 3 out of 4 of these women straight up work for the enemy. And the ones that don't work for the enemy are friends with the enemy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's totally fine because these soldiers didn't know shit.
Mm.
Like, what are you going to tell them? Like, oh, yeah, 500 of us are going to drive in a caravan. You know what I mean? There's not much they could say, right? So, and I mean, to this day, I mean, if you get captured by the Taliban or the Russians or whoever, they can torture you all day. If you don't know anything, you don't know anything. You can't tell them shit. So,
Yeah. Makes sense.
and the officers are a different story. And the funny fact is the officers are allowed to negotiate. They have that famous saying that we don't negotiate with terrorists. This is total bullshit. You can totally negotiate with terrorists all day long.
I've negotiated with 6 terrorists. One of them was my ex-wife. The other,
Ex-wife.
The other 5 were her lawyers. Oh God.
But yeah, an officer can negotiate with terrorists.
American spirits.
Official smoking brand of the Taliban. What do the Taliban smoke? That's a good question. You know they
tobacco?
smoke, right?
Yeah.
You think they're just hand rolling them?
Sure.
Did you say that terrorists are prone to hand rolling cigarettes?
Where are you going with this thing?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I want to know how to spot a terrorist.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
How can I spot a terrorist and inform on him to the U.S. government? How can I do that?
And how do I tell a prostitute about this?
You make him a terrorist.
Right.
You make
tell
him a
How
terrorist?
to build a
Shady.
bomb. Yeah.
I felt like my ex-wife was making me a terrorist.
So speaking of snitching, this is a good one because it shows just how much Meta /Facebook / the Zuck knows about it. I had a contractor in my house, and he was doing a flooring estimate, and he whipped out his CAD program, and it took him like 2 minutes to map out the whole house. It was very sophisticated. I was like, wow, that's an amazing program. That's crazy. He's like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. Didn't think anything of it. Then I started to get these advertisements on Facebook, and it was like, see something, say something. I was like, man, what is this talking about? So eventually I click on it after weeks, and it's like, hey, you can get up to $500 if you report someone that's using a legal version of these AutoCAD softwares. And I'm like, why would they think I know anything about this? I don't use these softwares. And then it's another couple weeks. I keep seeing it. I was like, oh, shit. It was that guy. That contractor was using cracked AutoCAD software, and they knew that I saw it because I literally held his device and looked at it like this. And they're trying to get me to make an anonymous report on this guy and cash him in for $500.
So did you?
I stopped seeing the ads.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to look it up. But I would feel a little bad about it because he's a pretty nice guy. But,
You're not going to report a nice terrorist.
well, he's not even a terrorist. He just does flooring, And he didn't get the gig.
Some of those prices
I totally
are
dicked
terrorism.
him down. I just wanted the estimate for the materials so I could buy him myself. I
So
totally
you dicked him down?
I dicked him down bad, business-wise.
Oh, that's how he lowered your cost? Oh, okay.
That's funny. When Hurricane Harvey happened or whatever, and the FEMA agent showed up with his little tablet, dude, and he walked into my piece of shit camper that was just full of black algae, and it was 130 degrees inside this little hot box. He was just sweating profusely, and he was just miserable, and he's like, "How much money do you want?"
Holy shit!
Because he just wanted to get the fuck out of my little hot box.
What did you tell him?
And I think
I want 16 million.
Right? We're not allowed to talk about
I was
this, are
okay
we?
for a couple of months.
Okay. Couple months?
Yeah.
Oh my god. No.
Months, yeah.
Oh my god. I would be retired by now.
I did convince a really rich girl here in Austin that I was okay for a while.
Okay.
But until she realized I wasn't okay,
Yeah.
she dropped me.
Oh, okay.
She found out you were
When she
broke,
figured it out.
basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She thought I looked like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You look like the male version of Leonardo DiCaprio.
We watched a lot of Titanic. Yeah.
So wait, you
On
just
repeat.
watched enough Titanic that everyone started to look like Leonardo DiCaprio to her?
She was just the kind of girl that just watched Titanic on repeat, basically.
Well, tell her your heart will go on.
It is a good movie. I mean, let's be real.
It is.
It's a good movie.
It is.
And I will say this because the main criticism of Titanic, obviously, is that, oh, Jack could have fit on the board.
Mm.
I'm going to go ahead and throw my hat in the ring and say it seems like he wouldn't fit on the board because the board capsized.
Mm.
I don't know if y'all have an opinion on this. You want to weigh in? It's a long-lasting
let us
debate.
know your thoughts on Titanic in the comments.
Please drop Chinese viewers, Feng Shuang.
Yep.
From
The
Qing
Rise
Beijing.
of Titanic. What do you think?
Is it a sequel? A remake?
It's
What if they
literally
did?
just watching the film Titanic in reverse.
What if they just remade it, but
rises.
the whole cast was Chinese?
They could.
They could do it.
That would be historically accurate.
Right.
Really going for the Chinese audience, fellas.
Not gonna
They
take
could
the
do a
bait.
Netflix reboot and everyone is Latino or black and they're all gay.
I get on that table.
on Disney Plus.
They'd be like, sir, women and children only. It's like, I'm a they-them. You bigot. You fucking bigot. He doesn't even have to use a child. They're like, my mistake, ma'am.
They thems are going last. No, I'm a woman. I'm totally a woman. Okay, get on there. Yeah. Yeah. We all want to be specific until there's consequences.
The most likable part about that movie is Calvin, though, the rich guy.
Mm.
He's way more likable than Leonardo DiCaprio. 100 times more likable.
In the film or in real life?
Both.
Okay.
But especially the film.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, and that just proves the movie is just a case study, and I mean, women you just really can't make women happy, right?
No.
She has a gold mine.
It's
That's what the movie was about.
She has this totally hot stud. Who's
My
rich.
heart will go on to another man because of how trash you are, ladies.
No, but the actor was
what
so
the film is
locked
saying,
in.
not me.
They have a scene where he's like getting his paper and he's like sitting down for breakfast and like he's not paying attention to her. And the waiter comes up and is like trying to fill up his glass. He's like, he just hits him with that. Like, what are you gonna do if you hit him with that? That's where I learned it. If I'm walking through a mall, which I haven't been to a mall in a long time, you know how
Good
they
for
always
you.
try. They'll be like, "Sir, would sir like to try this fragrance?" I just hit him with them.
Oh shit!
And you can't do nothing. They're just like,
What's extra though is I've seen you also say speak to the hand because the face ain't gonna listen, which seems like a bit much, but your point is clear,
Well,
I suppose.
I don't want those fragrances.
Right.
Those perfumes are filled with lead. You know that, right? They're filled with bad stuff. All those perfumes and fragrances.
You heard it here first, folks, or you already knew it.
If you're buying that budget shit, you're buying that Brut aftershave. You just got
Brut, I thought it was Brute.
Is it Brut? Is it Brut?
You saying Brut?
I was calling it Brut.
That's why you don't buy it. I'm not buying anything named Brut. Now that you know it's Brute, you kind of want some, don't
Right,
you? You're
yeah,
like,
it's like,
I want to be
okay.
a tough
Brute with
son
the
of a
umlaut.
bitch.
Yeah, I
yeah.
want some Brute.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Brute. Grab your own.
We're gonna digitally put Brute on. No, it's gonna say Brut. No, actually, that's gonna be the name of our coffee. Brut Coffee. He's drinking some Brut coffee, everyone.
I like how every hipster trust fund baby just went into the coffee or wine business. Did you notice that?
Yeah, that's true.
They're like, I don't want to go into an industry that provides too much value. I just
Right.
want to buy some beans from South America and
Right.
sell it at 400% markup.
Right, have some for myself and then sell the rest. Yeah.
And it's a booming industry because let's be real, Starbucks runs the coffee industry, right? Dunkin' is like runner up, but I mean they're miles away, right? They're way
I
behind.
don't know, you tell me.
I don't know. Do any of you do
I don't
Dunkin'?
know.
Do you run
All
on
I know-
Dunkin'?
Well, America runs on Dunkin'. I'm from New England. I used to run on Dunkin'. Now I've never been a coffee guy. I've actually never really run on Dunkin'. Those donuts got me going for a while.
I'm big on tea. I don't like coffee
Yeah.
that much. Too much cortisol.
Mm.
Shoots your blood pressure right
yeah,
up.
that's right.
I was out swimming and I wanted to experiment and not smoke a cigarette before I swam because I would run out of breath while swimming.
Mm.
I just don't get to swim year round. So by the time the swimming season comes around, I'm out of shape for swimming. Right?
Mm.
And I'm drinking some coffee and I hit the water. I'm out of breath instantly. And then I'm like, well, what if it's the coffee?
Mm.
Next time I smoke a cigarette, no coffee, hit the water, swimming around, doing fine.
Mm.
So that completely scientific study tells me that coffee is worse for your respiratory system than cigarettes.
Cheers and mate.
Checkmate, libtards.
We're gonna
Here's
edit it. Just edit in the da
Go ahead,
da
dab me on, bomb it.
It's the motherfucking D-O-double-G Snoop Dogg.
What? Back on the Dunkin' Donuts thing. Apparently, there's a protest, and because of the autonomous little kiosk things or whatever, where you
Now
can
their
order-
donuts are autonomous too?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
jeez.
and the guy that was interviewing all the people protesting, he eventually goes into a Dunkin' Donuts and was like, "Actually, this was quite delightful. I didn't have to talk to anybody."
Yeah, with how antisocial our society is, no wonder there's a rise in robots. We don't want to talk to anybody.
Right. Because they're beneath us, right? They're service workers, and
Right.
we work a blue-collar job.
Yeah, we feel
but-
guilty.
Yeah, but we're paying them, so we're above them, right? So
Right.
we don't
Whoever-
really need to speak to them or be
Yeah.
polite,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I catch myself doing that. I went to the new HEB near Old Torf, right by.
Oh,
No
Fresno.
shit on
Yeah.
SoCo?
Yeah,
It's open now?
It's open
No
now.
shit. Okay.
It is truly massive. It's huge.
It looks it.
And they have basically you go up the escalators and they have employees and they had some friendly
Holy
woman.
shit.
She was like, "Hi guys, so good to have you at HEB. Let me know if I can help you find anything." And I was just like, I just did not want to talk to a human being at that point.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of enraged that she spoke to me. And then I'm like going down the escalator. I'm like, man, I'm like a little psychopath.
Why
That
do you
was
think?
uncalled for.
Why do you guys think we're single?
I'm not single. I'm in a committed relationship.
Mm.
People always assume I'm single. They're like, well, a psychopath like this, he's obviously single. I mean, this guy's a lunatic. I'm like, no, I'm not single.
We are dating, so now you all know.
I will say I don't truly understand how guys, it's so difficult to get a woman. These women, they're so difficult. I mean, women are kind of easy. They're really not that difficult to get a woman to go on a date with you, hang out with you. I don't know. It's just not tremendously difficult. Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dating advice.
That's
what you're here
just
for.
don't be so bad at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just be better at it.
Back to your point where like women's ideas on how things should function constantly change or whatever. I find like the best thing to do is just surprise them with some crazy shit or whatever, and just pretty much just do whatever you want to do, and that seems to like work out.
Okay.
Well, yeah, they respect somebody who lives their life on their own terms, I think. And if they don't, I mean, they're probably a gold digger.
Right. Because, yeah, like what we were talking about earlier, you never, like, they say they don't want a guy with, you know what I mean, without money and without a car, but then it just, like, constantly going back and forth.
Or there's
never
homeless
really-
guys with 5 hoes.
Right.
I've met them. They have 5 girl hoes and 4 boy hoes.
Yeah.
They really, they do want money. Right, they love money. Women
Sure.
love money. There's no question about it. But there's many other things they want too. So I
None
think
of which
that's
we can offer.
Matt's like the situation's hopeless.
Yep.
Oh.
Just give up.
But women love comedians, don't they? Women are big on comedians.
We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of toilets, the saga continues. Basically, I go back to my house after we released that episode when we were talking about toilets. Was that last week's? And
With the
then,
French toilet, yeah.
yeah, within like 12 hours, basically, my toilet is broken. Then I finally started thinking about it. It's like, I think my ex-girlfriend still has
Your
a
toilet?
key to my house.
Oh, the key to your house.
Think she came in and broke the chain?
I wouldn't be surprised. So.
Do you think she's watching this podcast? Do you think she found out about it?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Gotta ask your roommate. Do you see anyone walking around with scissors?
I don't think he would fuck up my dad. It's
No,
literally...
but ask if he saw her come around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly. It's literally the same thing, the same handle basically broke. So what are the odds?
It does seem low. I will say it does look like the plastic just broke off from the chain. It doesn't look like it was cut. Maybe she yanked it.
I don't know.
She's yanking your chain?
Hey. Possibly. I don't know where I was going with this, but that's all I got for that.
Okay.
I will say I feel like I should
Yeah.
get you for Christmas. I should get you a bidet.
Yeah.
Peter Thiel.
Yeah. So Peter Thiel. So we were talking about that he's positioning himself now as like some sort of Christian figurehead, or he's like prophesying about the Antichrist and doing all this. And I was saying we'd actually talked about him before, and we had just forgotten. But I was telling you about how he got Gawker shut down, the tabloid that was really big in the 2000s, because they made the grave mistake of outing him as a closeted homosexual. And he did not like that one bit. And they had also run a story on Hulk Hogan, because Hulk Hogan
I remember that one.
was having sex with his friend's wife, and they filmed it and they ran that. So first they blasted Peter Thiel by outing him, which he was not thrilled with. And then they ran the Hulk Hogan thing. Then Hulk Hogan, who was friends with Peter Thiel apparently, basically told Peter Thiel about this, and Peter Thiel was like, hey, I know what to do. And Peter Thiel financed the whole Hogan lawsuit, financed all of it, got like the best lawyers in the world involved, and he just dicked Gawker into the dirt, like straight up just wiped him out, scorched earth style.
Yeah, and it's completely okay if Peter Thiel's gay. And that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the title of the episode.
to be clear, what he
completely
was,
fine if Peter
Yeah.
Thiel is...
it's
okay,
Peter
Yeah.
Thiel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gay it up, my guy.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
Be the gayest Peter Thiel you could
Yeah,
ever
that's
be.
good.
And
We're
No, but
rooting for you.
He was pissed because he wanted to be the one that was, hey, you know, I know I'm a billionaire and I'm a Christian and all this, but, you know, I'm also gay. He wanted to go ahead and be because it was a little early, right? It wasn't until like after the 2010s where it was totally okay to be gay. This was still when it was a little scandalous.
Yeah.
And they made it as scandalous and juicy as possible. Like, oh, he's a closeted homosexual and he does this and this. And he didn't like it. I don't blame him at all. And Gawker was a trash website. So I would say it's a slam dunk for everyone that he got it shut down. I wish he would go ahead and shut down TMZ also. But he hasn't quite got around to that.
I don't know. TMZ every now and then does actual, like, decent journalistic work, I feel like. Like, 1 out of every, like, 30 stories is actually like, hey, someone found this. That's pretty good.
I would love to know what that work is.
I don't know. I feel like every now and then they break something like politics related that's actually, like they get, like, an actual scoop or something that's, like, nowhere else. Or, like, a lot of the, didn't they break a bunch of the Diddy stuff, too?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They made like a whole documentary about Diddy.
Yeah, so, and, I don't remember what they were involved with Epstein, but I thought I remember seeing a lot of stories they ran on Epstein as well.
Well, that's how you know the Watergate is broken. When the gates break, it's open season.
Yeah.
Because they know who they're supposed to go after and who they're not. So they obviously made a grave mistake running anything on Peter Thiel. They really should not have done it.
Yeah.
But they did it. But yeah, when the floodgates break, it's open season.
Well, my thing is, the narrative is we're supposed to like him because he created Rumble, right, during COVID. So, like, you had all the alt-right people that were questioning vaccines, and they herded over like cattle to Rumble. But it's just so funny, like, conservatives, specifically, like, elitist, wealthy, billionaire types that are conservatives, they assume they're in the right, and they assume, like, the general public is going to support them no matter what, because you, like, create Rumble, or you do this thing where you create like a culture or an atmosphere where like conservatives can have voices. But at the end of the day, there's natural distrust too. You know what I mean? Like, you have a crazy amount of money, so it's within our best interest to like sort of,
Question some things.
Yeah, question some things. And I find it really strange that now that this guy is like sort of like answering all the talking points that Christians are like concerned with, like specifically artificial intelligence, globalism, the Antichrist. And he, like, I don't know if you caught this in the video that I sent you, but he's like writing this weird gray territory where it's like, yeah, the Antichrist is coming, but I think we can still sort of utilize technology, you know what I mean, and operate in this weird space where it might be the end times, but we can still make money, baby.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's this Joel
What do you think we're
Osteen.
doing?
Yeah.
We're
He
not
didn't come out
making
and
You
say
guys are
that.
making money.
Well,
Yeah.
we didn't tell him.
But it's like it's the classic boomer ideology. You know, it's like I was in the backyards of all these like wealthy people in Westlake during COVID, and I would like have Alex Jones on, like, on my cell phone and stuff, and they came over to me thinking that we thought the same and stuff like that, and they'll just naturally say some wild shit like, yeah, these kids, they don't want to fucking work.
Well, it is true. We mentioned earlier too, like, what, it's a staggering number. It's like, it was either like 2 out of 3 kids or 3 out of 5 kids. It was like a really high number of kids are not working, so they're
Sure.
not wrong.
But boomers use that to defend their swimming pool and their multi-million-dollar home,
Right.
and so they're justifying all their wealth and
Right.
positioning themselves as if they're like better than us, So
Well, better is a relative term. I mean, there's no denying that they do have hustle. I mean, they're going to work. They're not working the type of jobs that kids would be offered. They're not working at fucking McDonald's or some shit.
no.
But they do go to work. They have respectable positions where people consider them to be important because they know people, which is really what you want. You don't want to be an anonymous, faceless person wearing a fucking corporate uniform. That's a dead-end job. You're never going to get ahead in that job. So I understand why people don't work it, because, I mean, what is the point? 40 hours, I see signs at McDonald's. We're hiring, desperate need to hire, $13 an hour. $13 an hour? Come on.
Yeah.
You're talking like $400 a week after taxes, max?
Might as well just kill us.
Yeah, it might be more humane,
Well, at least there's cheeseburgers.
That's a fate worse than death, having to eat McDonald's. We are not sponsored by McDonald's.
I have been
Why are we
thinking
crapping
about
on
it.
McDonald's?
You've been thinking about
I've
McDonald's?
been thinking about going to McDonald's fairly recently.
I used
See?
to love McDonald's in the early 2000s, early 2010s.
I didn't act on it, but
I would mack down some
Didn't
McDonald's.
act on it.
Working
it's a
Walmart
friggin'
on the night
addiction.
shift.
Yeah.
The last time I had it though, it was so disgusting. It was so bad.
Well, it's because there's no one working there to. Maybe you should get a job working there to fix the burgers. You're obviously not going to be tempted to eat them.
Doing that.
Might as well just kill them. McDonald's.
yeah. Oh yeah,
The CEO of McDonald's is like, I'm gonna kill this guy because it's what he wants.
I'm gonna fucking murder him. He has to be murdered. I'll do it.
Making McDonald's great again. I started making the fries. You all saw it, and now I'm the CEO.
Well, it's insane how expensive it is. We're talking $1.50 for a fucking little crispy. What do they call those? A breakfast.
Little crispy.
Little. They don't call it the.
Oh,
Rapper
hash brown.
endorsed.
They should call it the little crispy.
Little crispy.
Yeah,
A little potato hash. It's like $1.50.
Little
for a
potato hash.
And
It's
it's not even this big. It's like this big.
We need to make the little crispies more crispy, more big. Just big crisp, normal crispy. We're gonna call them crispies.
Have you seen those funny ass McDonald's videos where like some crackhead will be tweaking in a McDonald's and he'll be losing his mind because he's
That's
trying to
called
give
the
him a bill, and
employees. Okay,
The
sorry.
manager will bust out the back with a pipe and just whoop the crackhead's ass. Have you seen those?
No.
So funny, hilarious. There's a video.
McDonald's,
This guy,
the rise of crackheads,
He
coming
kept-
to China.
This guy robbed the same McDonald's like 5 times, right? And he would just do the same thing. He would just drive right up, come in there with a gun, you know, hold it up, and then there was like this woman, a Latina woman, was working there, and she would escape through the drive-through window. Right? You can't go through the drive-through window; it's against corporate policy. So first time was a strike, second time was a strike, the third time they said you're fucking fired. She's at gunpoint. A crackhead has her at gunpoint. And she escapes by waddling her fat ass through the drive-through window, and they fired her for it.
For going through the window?
For going through the window, for escaping at gunpoint through the drive-through window, she's fired.
Well, they do give them Kevlar vests. So
I
she
don't
should have
think they
just
do.
taken... That's why McDonald's is so expensive, is because they give Kevlar vests.
She should have just taken a 9mm
Right,
at
right.
point blank for a
Prove-
Kevlar vest.
Prove your love for McDonald's. Prove your love for Mickey Mouse. He's not the mascot, but he might be someday. Maybe.
Well, they backtracked on Ronald McDonald, the clam burglar,
Yeah.
that Irish woman. They used to have
Clam
a whole line
burglar?
of- The clam burglar. He's
That was his
purple.
name?
Yeah, his name is...
No. That was
The
something
oval
else.
head guy.
The oval head
That
guy.
was-
His name is the clam burglar. I swear to God.
Okay. The purple guy?
Well, I
think-
could be wrong because let's talk
You're
about
combining
this.
two things, I think.
The color scheme of this character was a little suspect.
It was suspect. He was definitely a burglar, and he was.
Okay, no, I
vaguely
remember
ethnic.
that guy, but who's the purple guy?
The clam burglar.
No,
I-
that was someone else.
That's the
All right, let's solve this right now.
African American.
But while I'm looking this up, remember I
You're
would
really
like to
avoiding
retract
the
the
racial
statement because I said that Emperor Hirohito was assassinated. It was not Hirohito. I didn't have time to look it up. It was Shinzo Abe, and he was a former prime minister. of
There go
Japan.
our Japanese listeners.
Right, they're like,
we
this
still have
idiot.
China. We
This
still have
motherfucking
China.
retard.
We have the Titanic 2, the sequel. We're gonna make it a Titanic multiverse.
All right, so clam burglar is not popping up, so it is possible he's not named the clam burglar.
I feel like, okay, hang on.
I'm glad this is getting resolved.
Well, this is important because I'm trying not to.
Who's the purple McDonald's guy?
Grimace?
Grimace, you freaking Yahoo! Thank you. I bet you're gonna grimace now.
All
Now
right,
you
well,
know
who
the
is
truth.
the bandit McDonald's
No,
guy?
the clam burglar. This is you were on a clam bake and you thought this up.
Is there any chance-
Hamburglar. His name
See,
is the
that's
motherfucking
what I'm saying. The
Hamburglar.
Hamburglar makes it. I'm like, clam.
he's a
Where's the
bandit.
clam?
So I confused Grimace and the Hamburglar.
You merged them. You Mandela affected.
Bro, I had a picture in my head of literally a fusion, like a nightmare AI fusion of the two of them. They're two separate characters.
That would be too much.
But either way, they shouldn't have backtracked. Ronald McDonald should continue to be the face. They took down all the Ronald McDonald statues. They took out all the playpens. You're going to give these kids a bunch of polysaccharides and seed oils, and you're not even going to let them run around in a ball pit. I mean, they're going to get obese as shit.
Make America great again.
And they're
kids.
just raising snitches. Yeah, basically.
who are gonna get
Who's
stitches.
snitching? Snitching on what?
snitching on this Luigi, the guy that.
Oh, that's
killed,
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody snitched on the guy who killed
Yeah,
United Healthcare.
a McDonald's employee snitched on Luigi,
Uh,
and that's yeah. Oh, speaking of, so last night some lady had a JeanSport backpack, and so she was, a progressive liberal, and so I went up to her and I was like, we're protesting JeanSport, right? She's like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, JeanSport tracked down the serial number and figured out where Luigi was, and so she's like, oh. She was immediately ashamed of the fact that she had a JeanSport backpack, and she was like, "I should probably."
JanSport?
Oh, it was
Jansport.
Jean Sport.
Oh, okay.
JanSport?
Could be French.
Yeah.
Well, they're not that expensive. You can get them for $45 apparently. So.
So yeah, I mean, she was super on board, and she was like, "I should probably tear off this label, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Tear off a bunch of all kinds of stuff.
Well, if there was an American flag on there, she would have torn that shit off in a heartbeat.
Right. Yeah.
Wouldn't have bought it.
But maybe people just need to realize, should I really be wearing corporate logos on my clothing?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Should I really be giving free advertisement?
You sure about that?
You
sure about that?
I don't want to be here anymore.
What you're saying kind of makes me want to fight you. That's probably the funniest thing that's come off of Netflix. What is that guy's name?
Tim Robinson.
Tim Robinson. I mean, he's definitely the funniest thing Netflix has ever done.
I
They
agree.
probably lucked out when they signed him.
This is the wisdom you'll get from this podcast, everyone.
Well, there was the OA.
What is that?
Oh, it's the greatest TV show with Britt Marling.
Never heard of it.
Sort of ripped off one of my ideas, but essentially it plays with near-death experiences, and there's this evil German scientist kind of guy that basically captures all these kids, and he'll kill the kids, but bring them back to life, and so he's trying to map out the afterlife, and so I don't know, but it's really cool and beautiful, and I strongly recommend it.
I've never heard of it.
It's canceled after 2 seasons. Yeah.
Well, that's the formula. You make a good show, and then you get a bunch of watchers, and then you just cancel it.
Well, the issue was they were coming pretty freaking close to dealing with the afterlife and God, and so I wouldn't be surprised if that was one of the biggest reasons why it was canceled. Because after watching one episode, you're like, holy shit, my life is really beautiful. I don't feel like shit.
Right.
Oh, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, you can't have that.
Right.
I'll get to it after I finish Detroiters, which also has Tim Robinson and is 2 seasons long.
Okay.
That's where he's a marketing executive.
Yeah.
He works with a black guy.
Yeah,
I was
Sam
watching
Richardson.
some of that. It's decent.
Yeah.
It was just decent. It didn't thrill me.
I mean, it's not as good as I think you should leave. But.
No. They're supposed to make another season of that, and then I assume they're done with it forever.
Oh, I think you should leave.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way they keep a good thing going, right?
We'll see, man. I got a shirt from Dan Flash's.
Who is Dan Flash?
It's the store on the show that sells really complicated shirts. Tune in next week, fam.
Yeah, you want to see where we're at?
Sure. You can do that. I don't know what I'm doing.